Most people don't stay broke because they're lazy. They stay broke because nobody ever showed them the rules of the game. And by the time they figure it out, they've already lost 20 years to a system that was never designed to make them rich. Here are 10 facts about wealth building that most people learn far too late. Some of them will make you uncomfortable. Good. That means they're working. Fact number 1. Your paycheck was never meant to make you wealthy. A salary is compensation for your time, not a vehicle for freedom. The moment you stop working, it stops paying. That's not an investment. That's a treadmill. Wealthy people don't chase bigger paychecks, they chase assets that pay them whether they show up or not. Rental income, dividends, royalties, business equity. The paycheck funds your life today. Assets fund your life forever. Most people spend 30 years optimizing the wrong side of that equation and only realize it once retirement is already close and the numbers don't add up. Fact number 2. Lifestyle inflation is a trap disguised as success. Every time your income goes up, your expenses quietly rise to meet it. New car, bigger apartment, nicer vacations. It feels like progress. It's actually a leash. The raise you got last year is already gone, absorbed into a slightly more expensive version of the same life. The people who build real wealth are the ones who keep their expenses flat while their income climbs and funnel the gap into assets. It's not glamorous. Nobody posts about it. But the gap between what you earn and what you spend is the only number that has ever made anyone rich. Fact number 3. Debt was engineered to feel normal. Car loans, credit cards, buy now pay later apps at checkout. None of this is an accident. An entire industry exists to make debt feel like a lifestyle choice instead of a liability. The average person will pay more in interest over their lifetime than they ever put into an investment account. Debt for a depreciating asset, something that loses value the second you buy it, is one of the quietest wealth killers there is. The wealthy use debt too, but almost always to acquire something that generates income, never just to consume. Fact number 4. Compound interest is boring, and that's exactly why it works. There is no dopamine hit in watching a number grow by 4% a year. It doesn't feel like anything is happening. For the first 10 years, it barely looks different from doing nothing at all. Then somewhere around year 15 or 20, the curve bends upward violently, and the money starts making more money than you ever contributed yourself. Most people quit right before that bend, because patience is harder to sustain than discipline. The people who get wealthy through investing aren't smarter. They're just still in the game when the curve finally turns. Fact number 5. Net worth, not income, is the real scoreboard. A doctor making $400,000 a year with no savings and a mountain of debt is poor in every way that matters than a schoolteacher with a paid-off house and a steady investment account. Income is a headline number. Net worth is the truth underneath it. Society trains you to be impressed by what someone earns. It rarely tells you what they keep. The flashiest lifestyles are frequently the most fragile, propped up entirely on next month's paycheck. Fact number 6. Time in the market matters more than timing the market. People wait for the perfect entry point, the perfect dip, the perfect moment when everything lines up and it finally feels safe. That moment doesn't exist, and waiting for it is one of the most expensive habits in personal finance. Missing just the 10 best days in the market over a multi-decade period can cut your total returns dramatically. The people who build wealth aren't the ones who predicted the crash. They're the ones who kept showing up, month after month, boring and consistent, while everyone else was trying to be clever. Fact number 7. The wealthy think in ownership, not in wages. Ask a struggling person how to make more money, and they'll usually talk about a raise, a promotion, a second job. Ask someone wealthy, and they'll talk about equity. A stake in something. A piece of a business, a property, a company. Ownership scales. Labor doesn't. You can only work so many hours in a day, but an asset you own can generate value while you sleep, while you travel, while you're doing absolutely nothing. The shift from trading time for money to owning things that make money is the single biggest mental leap most people never make. Fact number 8. Financial literacy is not taught, it's inherited. Most schools spend more time on subjects you'll never use again than on how interest rates work, how credit scores are built, or what a compounding return actually looks like over 30 years. That knowledge gets passed down in households where money was already discussed openly and skipped entirely in households where it wasn't. This is why two people with the exact same income can end up in wildly different financial positions 20 years later. One of them was handed the map. The other had to find it alone, usually the hard way. Fact number 9. Taxes are the biggest expense most people never plan around. Across a working lifetime, taxes will take more from the average person than housing, food, or transportation combine. And yet almost nobody structures their finances around minimizing that number legally. Retirement accounts, tax-advantaged investing, timing of income, none of it is complicated once you understand it exists. The wealthy aren't paying less because they're breaking rules. They're paying less because they actually read the rules, while everyone else assumes the tax code is something only accountants are allowed to understand. Fact number 10. Wealth is built in silence and spent in public. By the time you see someone's success online, the work has already been done, usually years earlier, usually with none of the applause happening in real time. Nobody documents the nights spent reading a spreadsheet instead of going out. Nobody posts the year they didn't upgrade their car so they could max out an investment account instead. The version of wealth building that gets attention is never the version that actually works. The real version is slow, repetitive, and almost invisible until one day it isn't. Most people learn these 10 facts somewhere in their 40s or 50s, usually while doing the math on how many working years they have left. By then, the most powerful tool they had, time, is already spent. You don't get that back. But you do get today. And today is the earliest you will ever be able to start again. If this hit something in you, you already know what to do next. Don't just watch it. Apply one of these 10 facts this week. Subscribe if you want more of this, because the next episode goes even deeper into how the wealthy actually think differently than everyone else.